Your Life in Finance is an initiative provided to local students interested in a career in finance. It's a week-long programme of induction into the world of finance across the disciplines, and industry leaders welcome the chance to take on strong candidates for future roles.
We recognise that sourcing of good students is very difficult, and the greater exposure that we have over and above the interview process, the better for us to really understand what is driving young people today.
There's probably a lot of myths out there that the finance industry is this industry where only certain privileged people can actually work and get into, and that is a myth. The finance industry, in my view, is open to everyone who's willing to work hard.
The major skill that we're looking for has to be attitude, in terms of wanting to help customers and do the right thing for the customer at the right time. Attitude is absolutely key.
And there's lots of opportunities for young people. It's not just working in your typical branch environment, and it's good for young people to really experience the different departments that there are on offer within a banking environment.
The course is designed around real working scenarios and takes students on a 5-day fast track through different stages of an imaginary career path.
Well, it's very realistic. They're in the office, they're getting involved in the everyday things that we get involved in, and contributing and really making a difference to what we're doing on a day-to-day basis. So it gives them a fantastic experience to really understand what we do every day.
We recognise that it is a very daunting experience for a young person to come into the working environment. So the greater exposure that they have to it with these sort of schemes renders it very useful for when they finally do come into the working environment. I think we all spend a great deal of our time, often longer than at work than we do with our family. So it's very important that people are fully aware of what they're coming into.
From day one, when work experience students start with us, they get induction, which you would do in any job, and then they're straight into working as part of an engagement team, which will involve going to a client, meeting with individuals, working as a team, doing specific tasks, getting their work reviewed by someone more senior in the team, as well as having responsibility for a laptop, the data on the laptop, etc. So it's as real life, hands-on than you can possibly get.
The lucky pupils who are selected for this course get an invaluable insight into the inner workings of the sector. And when making career choices, the Your Life in Finance work experience programme provides a relevant starting point.
Out of the options available at Victoria College for Activities Week, this is definitely the most relative to my courses next year at university, so that's why I chose it, and also looked quite good on my CV. From this week alone, the last 4 days, I've found out that accountancy is quite interesting, and I've been through all the different sections of the accountancy area, and yeah, I think it's a really good part of finance that would be interesting to get into. I spent a lot of time with 2 accountants, well, 1 accountant and 1 trainee accountant, Tony and Sam Wade. And yeah, we had a really good conversation about accountancy there and their training course that they offer at Moore Stephens, and it was really interesting to hear about all that. Everyone in the accountancy firm downstairs have been talking about their summer ball they had on the weekend, and they said it was really, really good fun, and they always talking about how they've got up and coming events, and they all have fun as a great big, it's a really good environment, a big team. I think the most valuable thing to learn from this week is, although you're in a working place and you're working and doing hard work and everyone around you is trying to work, it's also a really friendly environment, and that everyone gets on really nicely, and it's good to see that within a working environment, 9 to 5 kind of office, is still really happy and enjoyable.
My favourite area of finance would have to be accountancy, and I think that's because at school maths was always one of my favourite subjects, and I was always quite good at it. I talked to an accountant at a careers fair, and I thought the finance industry sounded really interesting, so I thought this week would be a really good way to find out a bit more about it and just see if that's what I want to do when I'm older. I was a bit worried when I first came that everyone was going to be, like 40, 50, and I wouldn't really get accepted into the office, but everyone was really young, in their 20s, and they were all really friendly. Any advice I needed, they were quite happy to help me out, so yeah, it was great. I think the most valuable thing I've learnt this week is to be more confident in the workplace. I think confidence is something I probably struggled with throughout my school life, but being such a friendly atmosphere, I was able to ask questions whenever, and people gave me great answers.
What made you want to work in here?
I just wanted to get a general insight into finance, and I think it's doing very well, and I'm really enjoying the experience.
I quite wanted to get involved in finance and get a feel of office work from 9 till 5 and just get involved in the environment.
I'm most interested in marketing because everyone thinks finance is all about numbers, but without marketing you just have a product with no price or no one knows about it. What about you?
Well, I can only really speak about the department I was in, which is purchasing, which was quite interesting because we can see how the company spends its money.
I've enjoyed working within a team. For example, in my department, there's a lot of teamwork. So you work within a team to get the product done by a certain date. I found that very enjoyable.
It was quite a lively and positive atmosphere, so it made it quite enjoyable to work in it. And the people were quite nice, so they made it quite easy to settle in, and made it quite nice to ask questions and not be shy and just get involved into the team. What about you, Amy?
I also enjoyed working in a team, and I enjoyed looking at different aspects of the business, like listening to customer phone calls.
I've learnt how much banks are segmented into different areas and how much each area is segmented. For example, the marketing area, there's so many different groups of people doing so many different tasks.
The most valuable thing I've learned this week from working in a bank is just basically office life and what it's like to get up every morning and work through the day, doing pretty serious stuff.
Your Life in Finance is welcomed by the industry's leaders and its future workforce. It's about students getting a taste of the real world of work. It's also about getting them to think on their feet, use their initiative and act responsibly in a completely new environment. The goal is they go back to their final year of education motivated to do the best they can so they can make the most of the opportunities ahead.